Um, at the Institute, we have this belief, a deeply held belief, that AI is going to have a disproportionate net positive impact on business and society. But we also foresee it altering career paths, displacing jobs, and chipping away at privacy that we as consumers have if we let it. And we've always talked about the need to have hard conversations as an industry and as a business and as professionals now so that we don't ruin what can be and is shaping up to be one of the most transformative technological shifts in human history. So, as AI capabilities and news races forward, we really feel that leaders must clearly define their principles, their policies, and their procedures around artificial intelligence. So, in the past week, we made some pretty serious strides towards looking at what those principles, policies, and procedures might be. And the first form of this is we created a manifesto that we're calling the Responsible AI Manifesto for Marketing and Business. Now, we published this on our website as a blog post. And it's a document that outlines and codifies our responsible AI principles here at Marketing AI Institute. And in the process, it's actually a really good template, an open template for other businesses and leaders who want to pilot and scale AI in an ethical way. So we'll link to that manifesto in the show notes so you can read through all the principles we came up with, and you can actually use it yourself under a Creative Commons license as a starting point for your own responsible AI policies and practices. So as people listen along and read along in that manifesto, I wanted to ask you right out of the gate, Paul, why a manifesto? Why this manifesto? Why now?
This is something that, as you were saying, we've thought about a lot through the years. I mean, even back to 2016 when we started Marketing Institute, I felt like we needed something like this. At 2019, the first Marketing AI conference, MACON 2019, we had an AI for Ethics panel that was actually led by Karen Howe at the time, was at MIT Tech Review, is now AI writer covering China for the Wall Street Journal. And my thinking was AI was early. I mean, I guess you could say we're still very early in AI understanding and adoption. But in 2019, when we launched our AI conference, it was very early in retrospect. And I thought that it was critical that while we were teaching people the fundamentals of AI and showing them how to infuse it into their marketing and business, we were forcing them to uh, take head on the challenges of doing it ethically and responsibly. And so anytime we've done conferences, we've made sure that responsible AI and ethics was a theme that was infused into what we were doing. That's where the tagline "More Intelligent, More Human" came from for the conference. So we made an attempt, I would say, when we were writing our book. It was very much in our minds to try and create something like this, some sort of industry standard that people could build off of. And we just didn't get there. I mentally don't think I was at a place yet to get there. I don't think I had formed enough points of view on the different critical aspects to get there. So instead of publishing in the book, here's our 12 principles, we cited Adobe and Google. We basically said, here's what they look like. If you're going to build a policy in your organization, I think it's chapter, what, Mike, 16 maybe was like the more human
Yep.
chapter, the responsible AI chapter. So we addressed the need to do this within an organization, but we didn't have our own policies to share at the time. So fast forward to 2 weeks ago, January 27th. I don't remember what triggered it. I think I was at the gym that morning. It was a Friday, and I just got the inspiration to do this. And I had a bunch of stuff I was supposed to be doing that day, and I just cleared my schedule that morning and I just wrote it. And so it was basically 11 years of thinking and researching and writing and speaking and all of these things that basically boiled down into about 60 minutes of writing 12 principles in essence. And then the way it transpired, as you're fully aware, is I sent it to you and it's like, dude, I want to like get this out now. What do you think? And I shared it with some other members of our team and basically just said, if you all have time to review this, do it. If not, we're going live with it tomorrow. Like we just need to get this out. And so I think it was a lot of thinking, a lot of spending a decade or more worrying about this, pondering how it would be done responsibly, not knowing for sure how it would. And I think the rate of acceleration right now just created the need to put something out that we know is imperfect, but would at least force the conversation and debate and hopefully give people something to start with so we don't have a bunch of marketers who are now diving into AI with no guidelines whatsoever.
So, if I'm a business or a marketer reading through these principles, these all sound really great, but why do we need to act on this as businesses now? Why do we need responsible AI principles, especially for people who are just getting started with the technology?
Yeah, what we know is government is going to lag behind. Regulations and laws are going to lag behind AI more than they traditionally do. I mean, government's always behind in technology adoption and understanding. But I think in the case of AI, it's going to be unlike anything we've experienced before. It's going to be very, very complicated for government to step in and do anything here in the foreseeable future. And we see that right now with the AI Act in the European Union. You know, they moved earlier than the US, obviously, and other governments to try and enact something. And they're running into obstacles, potentially insurmountable obstacles on the technical aspects of it's great to have the policies, but how do you enforce them? And that's where they're running into major issues in the EU is like, is the AI Act even feasible? And if that can't succeed, then how are we going to do it in the US or other countries?
Hmm.
So I think that it's just essential that we accept there's going to need to be self-governance at the company level, at the individual level, you know, first at the individual level. I think there's going to be a lot of cases where people are going to be asked at their place of employment to do something with AI that they're not going to agree with,
Hmm.
but there's going to be no policies to tell them that. There's going to be no laws to prevent them from doing it. I saw something. Oh, there's a guy I follow on Twitter last night at BuzzFeed, the data scientist at
Mhm.
BuzzFeed, and he basically said, like, if I didn't have to follow ethical guidelines for AI, I could do things right now that would like blow people's minds.
Hmm.
But he's limiting himself within his own ethical guidelines as well as probably those of BuzzFeed and potentially some legal. But it's the Wild West right now. And it is coming down to a lot of individuals and individual organizations to sort of self govern in this. And I don't see that changing in the near future at all. I think there's gonna be a lot more pressure to break those ethical guidelines
Hmm.
because you're gonna see other people doing it. And I'm not saying like what OpenAI is doing is unethical per se. I'm not taking like a point of view one way or the other on what they're doing with ChatGPT and releasing these things before other organizations are willing to. But you're going to see competitive pressure where OpenAI is maybe in the eyes of Google doing something unethical that they
Hmm.
maybe shouldn't have put those models into the world. Um, so you have already these like ethical lines being drawn where Meta and Google are, which you may or may not think they're ethical companies to start with. Maybe your view is they're unethical organizations, but whatever your view is, right now, at least, OpenAI is releasing things that other organizations have deemed unsafe. And so the ethical choice moves. Like it's a gray area as to what do you exactly consider ethical. And so as other organizations push forward and are willing to use AI in ways that maybe you or your organization haven't been, there's going to be constant pressure to maybe reconsider where the ethical lines get drawn. And that's why I think it's essential that organizations have very clear policies for their employees. Otherwise, we're going to putting people in very difficult positions to have to make decisions without guardrails.
Hmm. So I think our manifesto provides a really solid start for most organizations that are trying to figure this out. But obviously, every company, every organization has its own unique needs. What types of questions should I be asking at my company about the use of AI or the potential use of AI to build on top of these principles that we've published?
So the first thing I think you have to do is, are you building or are you buying it? You know, if you're an organization that's actually building AI tech and leveraging APIs from these like language model companies or image gen companies or video generation or audio
Mm.
generation, um, you know, if you're building the tech, it's one thing. If you're buying it, it's another. And the policies and principles are probably going to be similar, but you have to make these choices around, am I going to build this tool that enables this thing or not? And I think part of that comes into play around data. And, what data did they use to build it if you're buying it? Or what data are you buying to enrich, the solutions? So I think that those are key, and it might be helpful. I'll just run through the 12 principles we have real quick
Yep.
and provide real quick context if it's relevant, but I don't want to spend too much time because again, people can go read these and download it themselves. But I'll kind of give a little color as to why I picked the 12 I picked. So our first one is we believe in the responsible design, development, deployment, and operation of AI technologies. So that was meant to be all encompassing, whether you're building it or buying it, that overall we're taking a responsible approach to this. The second is we believe in a human-centered approach to AI that empowers and augments professionals. AI technology should be assistive, not autonomous. Now, I've gotten pushback on this one more than any of the other 11. Uh, and the people who have pushed back are the people building the technology. So my basic premise here is I don't think we should be trying to remove the human from the loop. I don't think full autonomy with zero human inputs or oversight should be the goal. Now, I could probably be moved on this in the months and years ahead when we see safe applications of a full autonomy, but I have yet to personally see anything close to full autonomy in marketing or
Mm.
in society. Like it doesn't exist. Autonomous cars is the main thing we look at. And there aren't cars without steering wheels that can drive in all conditions with no human involvement. That's full autonomy in the rain, in the sleet, in the snow, in on train, off road, on road, whatever. That's full autonomy. I don't see that in business and marketing software today. Again, I'm happy to be proven wrong on this one, but as of today, I don't think that it exist, nor should it be the goal at the moment. The third is we believe that humans remain accountable for all decisions and actions, even when assisted by AI. The human must remain in the loop at all applications. Sort of building on number two, I believe that very strongly at the moment. That the AI can't even if you play this out from a legal perspective, if the AI does something that causes harm in any way, and you're the person that bought the software, let the software run on its own, you're going to be held responsible. Like there's no legal precedent to charge the machine with something.
Mm.
And so you're going to get into these situations. Well, is it the company that built the software? Is it us that allowed the software to run autonomously? Is it? So I think that it is much safer at the moment to assume in legal situations and in ethical situations, the human is going to be held responsible for whatever the output is. Thus, the point, like you can't let them run autonomously because you're going to be held legally liable for whatever they do.
Mm.
So and not even legal, like from a brand perception, think back about what was that chatbot Microsoft released years ago, Tay or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that just went haywire in like the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
It damaged Microsoft's brand. Was it unethical? Was it illegal? Probably not. Like, I mean, they're not going to get sued over it necessarily, but it was a very questionable decision for the health of the brand if you knew what could go wrong. So
Mhm.
there's just lots of reasons why I think that's important. Four, we believe in the critical role of human knowledge, experience, emotion, and imagination and creativity. And we seek to explore and promote emerging career paths and opportunities for creative professionals. That one sort of stands on its own. We're not trying to get humans out of the equation here. We're trying to enhance what they're capable of. Number five, we believe in the power of language, images, and videos to educate, influence, and affect change. We commit to never knowingly use generative AI technology. I'm going to repeat that part. Never knowingly use generative AI technology to deceive, to produce content for the sole benefit of financial gain, or to spread falsehoods, misinformation, disinformation, or propaganda.
Mm.
This one has also gotten a little pushback because you get the obvious in the state of society that, well, what's your misinformation is our regular information or facts or whatever.
Mm.
The point is, whatever you consider misinformation or disinformation to be, if you willfully do it, if you use AI to spread what you know to be incorrect information, that would be knowingly doing it, in my opinion. And it's not a political statement. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Like, this is if you are knowingly deceiving people, we do not believe in that. All right. I feel like we might have to spend an entire episode in the future just on number five. I'll leave it at that for right now. Number six, we believe in understanding the limitations and dangers of AI and considering those factors in all of our decisions and actions. This is one where I think we are failing as a society at the moment. I don't think most leaders, most government leaders, most business leaders understand the limits and dangers of AI. I think this is a very critical point. Um, so again, think about that one. 7, we believe that transparency in data collection and AI usage is essential in order to maintain the trust of our audiences and stakeholders. Let that one stand on its own. 8, we believe in personalization without invasion of privacy, including strict adherence to data privacy laws, mitigation of privacy risks for consumers, and following our moral compass when legal precedent lags behind AI innovation. I know that one jumped out to you when you edited it.
Yep.
And I think based on what we were already talking about up front with the challenges of keeping up with laws here, the moral compass is going to be critical. Now, this is obviously a very subjective one, but I think if you're a brand, if you're a marketer, business leader, your organization either has a stated moral compass, it's in the culture code, it's embedded somewhere within that organization. And people need to understand that and believe in that, whatever you define your moral compass to be. Number 9, we believe in intelligent automation without dehumanization and the potential of AI to have profound benefits for humanity and society. 10, we believe in an open approach to sharing our AI research, knowledge, ideas, experiences, and processes in order to advance the industry and society. Putting this out there as an open source document is part of that process. We default to being open about the things we're learning and thinking to try and advance people, even if it may harm us from a financial perspective down the road. It's just overall guides us. 11, we believe in the importance of upskilling and reskilling professionals and using AI to build more fulfilling careers and lives. That is essential. You cannot go find a bunch of AI savvy marketers and business professionals out of school right now or being trained in mass anywhere. You have to commit to upskilling them yourselves. And then the final is we believe in partnering with organizations and people who share our principles. So again, go check out the link in the show notes. You can read the whole thing as well as how we're using AI today, sort of our way of being transparent about our use of AI in the organization. And then if you have ideas and ways to improve it, we'd love to hear it. That's part of the reason we put it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we fully intend to start and have a conversation, not, just drop these principles down from on high on people. So
Yeah, it's
any
not a holier than
feedback
thou thing. This is
yeah,
we're seeing a lot, talking to a lot of people. These are things we think are critical for every organization to address. They may expand, they may contract, they may evolve, but we'll share whatever direction we go with that.
excellent. And again, you can check that out on the website and we will have it in the show notes for you to read fully and also use for your own organization.